This is believed to be the oldest tree in the world, estimated at some 4,800 years old. I think it was planted around the year 2800 BC in the Inyo National Forest in California. Interestingly enough, appropriately enough, even named Methuselah. Its wood is so hard and dense that insects really cannot penetrate it at all, and diseases even struggle to ever take root in that tree, and so it keeps hanging out and keeps lasting and lasting and lasting. Looking at that picture, even though we can recognize it's been there a long time, would any of us say that that forest that it's in is the picture of health? Do we view that forest as a healthy forest? I'm guessing when we view healthy forest, we view something more along the lines of this: lush, green, invigorating. If you ask people who are foresters or have an agricultural background, there's several key signs they're going to tell you need to look for if you want to know if you have a healthy forest. And really, you can summarize it in one sentence by saying every cycle or every part of the life cycle of a tree needs to have full, healthy representation. You may start by looking at the big, full-grown trees, the trees that comprise the canopy of that section of the forest. Not only how tall are they, but how full are they? Are they receiving enough sunlight? If you look at the forest floor and it's full of sun, that's probably not a good sign, because your treetops are not thick enough to absorb a lot of sun. But it would also tell you, you don't just want to look at the obvious big trees to see how healthy they are. You need some old trees. You need some dead trees. You need some trees that have been struck by lightning and fallen down, or fallen down because of disease or insects or whatever that may be. Because it's in those dead trees that all the critters and insects that also live in the forest, they make their home in those trees. So you need a good percentage of those. Then they would also say you must also account for seedlings. You can't have a healthy forest that's got great big tall trees and even a few dead trees and say this is healthy if it has little or few seedlings. They plot out the land at a certain acreage and they'll look and they'll see how many squares that I've marked off, how many of those squares have at least one seedling. And one chart I looked at said 50%. Okay, it's a decent health. But to be vibrant and to truly be healthy, you need at least 2/3 of those squares having at least one seedling that's growing. Even for us as amateurs, people that don't have any kind of an agricultural background, that makes a lot of sense. That you need the wide range, the full range of this whole life cycle to be healthy. Do we recognize the same is true when it comes to what Paul calls God's field, the church? We may plant, we may water, but it's God who gives the growth. Do we recognize that because God desires all people to be saved, we're saved as a part of the kingdom, the church, and that church is to be eternal and is eternal. Thus, God designed it to be comprised of thriving souls in every single generation. To be a healthy church. No matter the era, every generation is represented and is growing.